We are live and welcome back to some early plays you can pimp slap for this weekend for college football and NFL. My name is Earle. I'm joined here by Mr. PimpSlap POD himself. And we got two college games, two NFLs, and teaser time for this show. So the norm there. So we'll be getting into that in just a second. Recap of last week. I'm trying to remember what I was on. I gave out Clemson, which was should have won but didn't. I was on the Cardinals. I gave out the +12. They only won outright against how about them Cowboys. And then I didn't do a teaser last week. I ended up posting a teaser on Twitter, and it was the Rams and it was the Jets, which both lost but both covered the teaser. So that was a winner there. Mike, what was yours last week?
Oh, I don't have it in front of me. I probably should have at this point, but I want to say I went 1-1-1. That's the same motto I had the first week as well. It's one of those things where I'm still figuring out this early looks, and I feel like I got a couple good spots tonight. So guys, I believe in the late is great betting style. The thing about the late is great is I ended up with I think 6 pushes on Saturday in college football, which
I had 4.
A push isn't a loss, but man, it felt like
a loss.
Frustrating. It was frustrating, and it carried into the UFC for me as well with some bullshit calls that really didn't work out the way I wanted them to. So anyhow, we're moving forward. It's a new week. It's new money. We're here to give you guys early looks to cook the books, and I'm excited. This is week 3 of us getting into this thing, and we're finding our stride now. We're going to find our stride, and we're going to give you guys these spots to cash them tickets.
Yeah. We'll quickly head to the chat. There's 2 chats. Dave says first, nuts. Mel saying hi to Dave, not to us, but to Dave. And then I am saying, hey, what's good? What's good? But we will get started. We'll actually let you kick it on off here. I like this game. I like the side you're on here. The Utah Utes are 3.5-point road dogs here. Total 44.5 against these Oregon State Beavers. What's your pimp slap play here?
It's an early look, but it is a prime time game, this time on Friday. So get ready, get set, and let's go. It's Utah 4-0 versus 3-0 Oregon State. Am I backwards? I'm not sure. 3-1. Okay, 3-1. Utah is a team that's certainly the higher ranked spot here, and we've seen some line movement that's really been kind of a little wonky. Opened up at -2.5. It's now, or I should say Oregon State opened up at -2.5, has now crossed that key number of 3, and we're looking at 3.5. A couple things that I looked at with this game. I saw the Steam report on Oregon State, right? I get some different reports throughout the week. The Steam report's one of them that I enjoy. The reason I like the Steam report is because I kind of said this in a couple streams prior. We start to look at when's it too late to be jumping on a spot. And when we've crossed over that key number that I indicated, I feel like we're there. Utah, as a road dog is 13-1 against the spread going all the way back to 2014. Obviously, there's been some key changes. The quarterback situation's up in flux, but we've had 9 ranked games this year, head-to-head ranked opponents. The higher ranked team has gone 6-3, and I had to go to Utah in this game here. Give me the 3.5 points. I'd like it even more if it climbs any higher going into this Friday spot, but for me, I had to jump in on Utah. I feel like it's just a stronger team. I expect this to be a game where it's going to be, obviously DJ U's out there doing his thing with Oregon State, but I've been less than impressed with Oregon State. When I see what they're doing out there, live betting team, sure. But last week, Oregon State was laying 3. They lost by 3. So at the live bet, I was able to get him at 10.5, but they still came up the loser. They covered that live spot. Who else have they played? San Diego State. Yeah, they beat them by 26-9, but they lost. They didn't cover the spread. And they played UC Davis, and they beat UC Davis 55-7. Prior to that was San Jose State. That was their obviously that was their lone positive cover because San Jose State, they whooped them up 42-17. But if you flip gears and you look at Utah, who's Utah played? Well, they played Florida. They were able to get a win on August 31st against Florida, covered the spread. They played Baylor. They pushed that spread on Baylor, but they were able to get the job done nonetheless. Again, that's a situation where the early betting probably got you that cash. They played Weber. They didn't get the job done as far as the spread, but they did whoop them up in that kind of tune-up spot. And then they rolled off to UCLA. It was a big game at home, elevation. And I do feel like now that they're kind of going out to Oregon State, that's going to be as flat as it gets when it comes to sea level. I expect the second half to get tighter as the legs get a little bit more worn down for Utah. I wouldn't be mad at anybody that wants to take Utah in the first half, but for me, I had to take that 3.5. We're past the hook. We've got 3.5 laying -110. That's my spot. Give me Utah Utes.
Yeah, I'm on the same page with you there. I got the money line at +140 as well with the Utes here in this spot. When I ran my numbers for this, I had Utah as around a 1.5 point favorite in this game. So getting not only points with Utah, but over the field goal for me, it was too good for me to pass up. Maybe we're falling into a trap here, but give me the better team with the better defense and points. I'll go ahead and take some Utah here as well. We'll go from the West Coast to the East Coast. We have the Clemson Tigers and the Syracuse Orange here in this one. The Tigers 6.5 point road favorites with a total of 53.5 in this game. Now, for me, I was on the Clemson Tigers last week. They were the better team in that game. They outgained Florida State. It was turnovers that Florida State got that flipped the game around for that. And when we look at this matchup, though, I like the points here in this spot. When I capped this game, I had this one, I believe, at Syracuse around a 2.5, 3 range. So getting close to that touchdown. I personally got a 7 on this game because I bet this a couple days ago. I got 7 with Syracuse. I like the Orange in this spot. This has been a Syracuse team that's looked good. I like the way Garrett Schrader has run this offense so far. And I think the Syracuse team has some potential this year. They're already 4-0. They haven't played the greatest of competition, but they're at home here. They're getting points. And I think that this is too many points here with the Orange. I like them plus the points here and the money line, plus 210.
Yeah. You know, as a regional guy here with Syracuse, kind of being that regional big school that's out there, I can tell you a couple of years back, I went to that game where Clemson had that undefeated season and Cuse was able to come out there and shut him down with the full upset. It was a huge spot. And every single season, Cuse knows that this is kind of I say it loosely, the class of the division in Clemson. It's a game they circle. I have no doubt about it. Interestingly enough, there's 5 teams that are unbeaten against the spread this year. Each have gone 4-0. It's Liberty, Oklahoma, Oregon, Penn State, and UNLV. But Rutgers and Syracuse are somehow 3-0-1 against the spread as well. So I like that spot a lot, not just as a homer pick, but the fact that Clemson's kind of been intermittently successful at best is how I would rank them this season thus far. I think it's a great Q spot. They're going to be motivated. They're playing hard. They've been able to find a way to kind of stay on top. Army had a huge win the prior week. Army comes into town and they handled Army. It was a situation where Army made it close a little bit towards the end, but the turnover factor and the defense that Cuse has, I think will be the difference in this game as well. I like that Cuse look.
Yeah, Army kept it close to the beginning, and then Syracuse ran away with it at the end. But yeah, that was
They had like 3 turnovers in like a 2-minute span on Army. It was like they got the ball again. And then even when they let Army come down and get some points, they just ran right down the field within seconds. I had to refresh my app and make sure I was seeing it properly.
I thought my over 50.5 had a shot because all of a sudden they started scoring in the second half and they came up like a score, 1 score short. But it is what it is. We'll head over to the chat before we head over to the NFL segment here. Gerardo saying, "Sup, guys? What is good, Gerardo?" Flea Mathis, what's good? Mel says, "Guys, I need advice. I'm holding Colorado plus 27.5. I wish I got that. Should I try to middle it now?" I mean, that's up to you. I kind of lean towards Colorado in the points. If they were still hanging at 27.5, I would have grabbed the Buffaloes in this game after getting demolished by Oregon. Because for the first time, my numbers actually presented value with Colorado this week. So I bet the over 74 in the game. That's all I've got for that one. I lean Colorado, but we put up USC at minus 17.5 before the Oregon game. So that's where we got for that game.
I was on USC in the first half and the full game last game. And to say it was none too impressive is an understatement. They looked flat. They weren't inspired. They certainly didn't cover. They didn't cover either spot. It was an 0-2 game for me on that situation. And I hate going double deep on something, but I thought, the number was big and give me that first half. I don't know what we're going to see, but I do feel like this is a rebound spot for Prime. He's got to come back and these guys have to win. I saw the pregame or the press conference earlier this week here. Was it yesterday or today where he was talking about guys? The thing I like about this, he says he's old school, but he says he gets a report on Thursdays of the number of hours guys have spent watching game tape. I kind of like that. Like, hey, you know what? Get your ass in the game, get the skin in the game. And if you don't have it, you're not going to play. And he's got a 5-star freshman recruit that does not have his skin in the game right now. He shows up late to practice. He doesn't come on time for really anything. And my understanding is he's not watching game tape. So, he put him in. And I think the best answer Prime had at the end was when they put him in after it was getting beat down. And he's like, did you see the score? He's like, I would have put you in. And he was talking to the reporter about that too. So he was not happy. This is going to be a bounce back spot. It's going to be bounce back or season's getting shut down for Colorado. So I wouldn't be mad about
that. I think if you like Colorado, maybe take them first quarter or first half. Because I can see them coming out strong in the beginning and then USC taking over late type of situation there. Tim saying he likes Oregon State. Well, nobody's perfect. It is what it is. And he likes Cuse, though. Dave saying eat shit, Clemson.
Yep.
They should have won that game against Florida State. That was frustrating. Northwestern money line plus 1,000. See you boys in Vegas. This one winning me a vacation. Wow, going not only for the 27 points, but the outright win against Penn State. All right.
I'll keep my eyes
leaning towards the points there. Penn State has covered in 10 straight games. Yep. So that's not something I'm particularly interested in jumping in front of. But if you give me up over 4 touchdowns, maybe I might consider it.
Man, I'll tell you what, Penn State's got a heck of a defense. And
they're good, yeah.
It's got to be, I think it's the best in the Big Ten. And for me to see a situation with Northwestern, who kind of struggles on offense and has gotten the job done at sometimes, I think we'll struggle mightily. But I'll keep my eyes on that stop, Gio. I mean, certainly not against my guys winning some cash. And speaking of my guys, shout out to everybody in the chat here. We appreciate you guys jumping in. We're doing this impromptu, giving you guys the early looks to cook the books. It's Early Plays the PimpSlap with my guy Nick Earle and your boy Mike M. Let's roll.
Yeah, and let's get into the NFL now. You wanted to talk about the AFC North matchup here between the Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Ravens. Now, last week for me, the Browns came through for me big time with a blowout win against the Tennessee Titans. They're 3-point favorites against the Ravens coming off an outright loss against the Indianapolis Colts last week. Total of 40 in this game. Total has dropped. What's your thoughts on this one?
It's interesting. So, this is kind of that situation where the line opened at +1. It's now +3. I think that's a situation of being +3 for Baltimore because of what they did last week or what they didn't do against those Indianapolis Colts. We have 47% of the bets, meaning there's 53% on the Browns. I typically look at that as teasers, parlays, and public money, but we have 60% of the cash coming in on that Ravens +3 spot. And for what it's worth, Baltimore versus the Cleveland Browns, they're 11-4 against the spread. They haven't lost a back-to-back game against the Browns since 2007. So they did lose in the Browns last year, but teams that are coming off a road loss versus a division as a favorite, are certainly in a struggle position here. And what I have charted out for the numbers is the road loss team in the fact that it was Baltimore as a favorite going against the divisional team who have more wins than their previous season than the opponent they're playing are 23-3. So a road loss team that was a favorite that's playing a division and has more wins the previous season, meaning they're just the better team, holistically are 23-3. So I had to take that 3 with the Ravens right now. I think it's that field goal spot. I would not be surprised to see the Ravens win outright. But I like that 3. I'm not impressed with what Cleveland's done. Say what you will. I know they've kind of got some W's out there, but they beat Cincinnati 24-3. We've seen what Cincinnati is. They got their win last week against the Rams. They lost to Pittsburgh 2.5, laying that spread in their second divisional game. Interesting schedule that they're going to have 3 divisional games in the first 4 of the season. And I think that wears on a team. It takes a toll. So they beat Tennessee. And then, the Ravens got that loss last week, 22-19. Pretty big favorite at 7.5. But, they beat Cincinnati as well, and they beat Houston. So I like this Ravens in a bounce back spot at the +3.
Yeah, this is one where I think if I'm playing it, I'm going under the total in this one. I think the Cleveland Browns have one of, if not the best defense in football. That Cleveland Browns defense is dangerous. And I believe this line opened up at a 1. At the 1, I would have leaned more towards the Browns. Now that's gone up to the 3. I'm more leaning towards the other side there. Not a game I'm particularly interested in getting involved with the side, because I remember I think it was Big Red Goose said all you have to do is shuffle up the AFC North teams, throw 2 out, and it's a -3 spread. So it is what it is. I have this game more like a 1.5, 2 range. So I'd lean towards the Ravens getting the points, but my stronger thoughts in this game would probably be under the total. Some good old fashioned AFC North football here for that one. All right, we'll get into the next one here, which I wonder which one I'm going with here. I totally did not give away my pick by the jersey I'm wearing. The Buffalo Bills are 2.5-point home favorites against the Miami Dolphins in this one here, total 54.5. And look how great the Dolphins look. They just dropped 70 points last week on the Denver Broncos. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to fade them this week. We're going to fade the Miami Dolphins this week off of a crazy, crazy game where they blew out by 50 points. That was crazy. 70 points. I'm going to go on a limb. My Broncos 6.5 did not cover. But looking at this spot for me, I had this game more like a 3.5. So I see a little bit of value getting below the field goal with the Bills. I want to let this total climb a little bit because it's at a 54 right now. I think I might be able to get a 54.5 or a 55. I like the under in this game as well. We see totals that are 54 or higher go under the total. They've gone, I think they're 4-0 or 5-0 or no 6-0. I think since the start of last season when totals are 54 or higher to the under. So if this total continues to climb, I will definitely try to go underneath it. I like the Bills laying the 2.5 here against the Dolphins, though.
Yeah, I think overreaction city based on that last game, right? So if you had the Denver side, it only counts as one loss, despite how many points they lost by. If you had the under, it only counts as one loss, despite how many points that lost by. So, we move forward, and it's a big divisional rivalry. It's exciting to see the Bills kind of go back to the era that I grew up in, with the fact that Bills and Squish the Fish was a real thing. Right now, the Bills at home kind of feel like it's that overreaction spot. If you look at the numbers right now and you give 3 points as kind of that traditional number for a home team, they're saying that the Dolphins are about a 0.5 point better overall than the Buffalo Bills. For me, I feel like that's a situation where, the Bills are just in a spot to find a way to get it done. I'll tell you what, too, with the over, we've seen it climb 5. I mean, there's 54.5s out there. It's climbed 5 points. If you don't take a look at a teaser on the under in this game, finding that, John Q. Public is looking at this thing saying, oh, they're scoring a ton of points on both sides, but it is that divisional game. So if you can tease that thing up to 60.5 or even 61 as it gets closer to game time, that might be a real strong play. I don't know that both these teams go out there and score 70 points, with the caveat saying that when Buffalo does play big teams, you look at the times that they play the Kansas City Chiefs, the scoreboard gets rung up. So as long as Buffalo can find a way to get it done, I think it's offense versus defense. As excited as I am about the Bills offense, again, regionally as a fan, the Bills defense, they had an AFC player of the week on the defensive side. And I just think it's a good opportunity here with kind of that buy low spot for Buffalo, despite coming off of a big commanding win. Why not take a shot at him with that low number?
Yeah, I think Buffalo has finally become the best team in the AFC, or one of, because they were really overlooked after that week 1 loss. And I obviously lost a ticket against both these teams last week because I had the Commanders as well. So I really didn't get either of these teams right. But that 55. Personally, I don't tease teasers, or I don't tease totals. Just because when I tease, it's specifically the way I do it. So I just, when it comes to totals, I don't see value in the number teasing it. But yeah, personally, I don't tease totals, but I can see somebody wanting to get that 60.5.
Just to jack it up a touchdown and jump underneath, it seems like a great spot to me. Whereas if you go the other way, take the 48.5, it's a divisional game. We could see it be a 45-point total. Take the points in your pocket.
Yep. Mel saying, thanks guys, I'll keep my CU ticket. Good luck on that.
Good luck to you.
Yep, and it is teaser time, the final segment of the show. Mike, your teaser for this week.
Boy, last week I teased between college football and the NFL. I don't think I got there, but this week I'm going to take
that UCLA game did not go over.
Damn, I just felt like that was such, and the numbers I had were over 65. So, to end up 14-7 was Not to say, I guess the only thing I would say about that is I knew right away it was cooked, so I didn't have to really get that invested in it going down the stretch. But I'm going to focus specifically in the NFL, and I'm going to go to a double spot here. First and foremost, I'm going to start out with the LA Chargers. They're playing the Las Vegas Raiders. And if you haven't heard what's going on, where have you been? The Vegas Raiders, they're talking about firing the coach. They're talking about stringing him up and lynching him in the public square down there in Vegas. And, his playmaking was considerably questionable last week. First time since, I think it was 1994, that a head coach in the 2-point era, down 8 points, decided to kick the field goal. And what he did say was, we needed 2 possessions anyways, which is really something considering it was less than 3 minutes in the game and they had overtime potential in their back pocket. So he wasn't confident in their team, but I think he wants to put the naysayers to rest and come out there and get the ball on the board. The Chargers, on the other side, when they're a 4-point or greater favorite, they are 10-0-1 to the over. And that's the look that I'm watching in this game here. The over 41.5. If you buy this thing down to a teaser, if you add 6 points to the total or take 6 points away from the total for the over side of things, it goes to 11-0. So 10-0-1. If you just take the 47.5 to the over, it goes to 11-0 if you tease that down to 41.5. And that's where I'm going to start my teaser off here, is the Chargers Vegas game, both teams. It looks like we're going to see Austin Eckler come back as well, which I think is a big opportunity for these guys to put their kind of, bus in gear and stick it to Las Vegas. But at the same time, big team with a big win total. They want to put up some big points, and I like that over. Second side of the house I'm going to is the Washington Commanders. You guys might see what I got behind me. This is an Eagles household. That being said, Washington as a road dog after a loss, when they're getting between 3 and 14 points, they're 23-0-4. If you add the 6 to it, they go to 27-0. I love my Eagles. I think they're going to continue to progress, and they're going to be an opportunity. Jalen Hurts MVP is still out there and viable opportunity. The number's just getting better. But in this case here, it's a divisional game. The Commanders coming off a disappointing game, their last spot as well. Going to be an opportunity for all hands on deck. And I just think, give me that 14.5. You've crossed over 2 touchdowns. Are the Eagles going to win by 2 touchdowns? I won't be salty if they win by 24 points. But for me in this teaser, I like getting those extra points in my back pocket. A game that's sitting around 8.5 right now. Lay that down. Give me the 14.5 to complete this teaser for me. Commanders plus 14.5 and the Vegas Chargers game over 41.5. Nick.
Yeah, so I like the side a little bit in the in that Chargers Raiders game. I'm leaning towards the dog in that one with the Raiders in that spot. Mm-hmm. And when we get to my teaser, you'll realize I've teased the opposite side on that Commanders Eagles game there. Mine is starting tomorrow night. The Green Bay Packers. I'm gonna tease them up to 8. Get through that 3. That 4, that 6, and that 7 from the 2 to the 8. I don't see the Lions blowing them out. And when I cap this game, the wrong team's favored to begin with. I have the Packers at I want to say a 1.5 point favorite tomorrow night. And I bet them at plus 105. I also have this game going under. So I do think that this will be a lower scoring game, which I like to limit the variation for the potential game. Or no, not the variation. I don't remember what the word's called. Variance. There we go. Limit the variance with the lower scoring game, getting plus 8. I like that there. And then for the second one, I'm going to get down through the 7, through the 6, through the 4, and through the 3. Get the Eagles down to a 2. I'm not high on this Commanders team. I'm just not. My numbers for that game had the Eagles around a 10-point favorite. I'm probably going to play the Eagles minus 8 straight up. I actually like the under in that game as well. My hope for this game actually is I don't want to lay the 8 points with the Eagles. I'll use this as an opportunity if the Packers cover this plus 8 to have a ticket saying Eagles minus 2 for Sunday and bet the under and just ride with that. I do think the Eagles take care of business in this game, win by at least a field goal, if not a touchdown. I think the Eagles can win this game by double digits. I'm not a fan of this Washington Commanders team. I think we finally saw what the true Commanders looked like last week when they just couldn't get anything moving. Sam Howell was a turnover machine, and this Commanders team I think is going to go to where I projected them in the beginning of the season, last in the division. I like the Eagles laying 2 and the Packers up to an 8. This is obviously when you're teasing. For me, the best value when it comes to teasing is getting through the 3, the 4, the 6, and the 7. 2-1 so far in my teasers so far this year. Doing that this week is going to be the Packers plus the 8 and the Eagles minus the 2.
Interesting. We're kind of on the opposite sides, but have the opportunity to middle in this Eagles game. And the thing about these teasers, when you get down to -0.5, 0, or even +1, those teams end up losing outright. So I like the situation at the -2 because it does kind of coincide with my game script here and saying the Eagles are going to win this game. How many points is too many points? And again, I think that 14.5 is, but that Packers game should be a lot of fun. Detroit Packers is going to be the battle of this division here. They're both in first place at 2-1. And, we have our Thursday night live stream. So it should be a lot of fun to check this thing out. Exciting. Expect a big game here. Jordan Love coming out there looking against Jared Goff and, should be a lot of fun. I can't be bad about crossing over that 8 to get to the 8 rather, and crossing over that key number of the 7. So interesting. Should be a lot of fun. I like that we got some Thursday and Friday picks in there this week.
Yeah.
Just waiting until the weekend. So you guys know the situation. Make sure you like and retweet. Let them know we're out here doing this thing. We're trying to give you guys these picks. We're going to give you the early looks. We want to cook them books, and it's Early Plays to PimpSlap with my guy, Nick Earle. Appreciate everybody's company.
Yep, we'll quickly touch on the chat, and then we will head on out here. Good night, Monchi, saying Packers cover the spread and the over. Good luck, everybody. I am. This is going to shock the world. I'm on that under tomorrow. It's the primetime under. I have bet every single. I know, right? I bet every single primetime under first half and full game. 17-5 this season. First half and full game unders. So I'm going to ride that till the wheels fall off. I've already bet that for the Lions game, and I've already bet it for the Jets game. I haven't gotten around to betting it for the Giants game because I think I might get a better number on that. Yep. And then he's saying Washington money line outright against those Philadelphia Eagles. Wow. Honestly, if I lose my teaser to them winning outright, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad at all.
There's no room in the chat for that language.
But that is everything for today's show. Quick little recap. I'm on Syracuse plus 6.5 and the money line. I like the Buffalo Bills minus 2.5, and the teaser is the Packers plus 8 and the Eagles minus 2. Mike, a quick recap, and then we'll head on after that one.
Yes, sir. I got Utah Utes plus 3.5 on the road against Oregon State. I took Baltimore plus 3 on the road against Cleveland. I've got that over sitting at 41.5 in the Chargers game, and the Washington Commanders at plus 14.5 as my teaser as well. So should be a lot of fun. We gave you guys a good stretch over this course of the next few days. We're getting ready for football weekend, and we want to get you guys ready with these plays that we had out there. Appreciate everybody stopping in.
Yep, and that's going to do it for this show. We'll catch you guys next week, next Wednesday, same time, 9 p.m., with some more early plays to PimpSlap. Until then, good luck, guys.